Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your June 2022 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Some of you know I'm a Sun and Sag, so I'm interested in what these cards say. The Soulmate card. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Six of Cups. This is a card of nostalgia for the past. This is the Soulmate card. I just got this for, I think it was Gemini, the opposite sign. And it's also a card for children. So maybe you're somebody whose children are coming home from the summer, from college, and you feel this sense of happiness that you get a chance to touch base with them again. Or if you're younger, the idea of having children, knocking that around. But it's also, to me, how I connect with this card is about, it's interesting because cups can be creativity or spiritual pursuits too. It really speaks to me about things that we've always had a torch for, that we've always wanted to do. Maybe life got in the way. So for me, it's writing, and not that I haven't, been writing, but just getting back into that. And for some of you, this is a major talent that you have, and it's kind of like keeping your light under a bushel. And some people say that they don't know what their life purpose is, and they are advised to think about what they would do when they were a child, that they would just do for the heck of it. And it wasn't like they were thinking, okay, I think I can make a lot of money doing this, or everybody's going to think I'm great. But they just did it for the joy of it. And it may not be exactly what that was. Like I was thinking about if you made mud pies, maybe you could, make blueberry pies instead of mud. But yeah, things like that. So very interesting. And in the past position, the Four of Swords, you may have taken a breather. I know, during Mercury retrograde, depending on if you're watching this for your sun sign in Sag, your rising sign can, really make your natal chart so different. And some of these transits that we're having can affect these areas of life. And so when you have Mercury retrograde affecting an area of life that can involve your business, your career, your work, you can feel like things are not working properly. And that can lead to a lot of internal second guessing yourself. And I think that, people don't talk about Mercury retrograde second guessing yourself, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is one of the big things that happens. And, maybe that causes some pain or some feelings that you did something wrong, like you made the wrong choices in your business, you're not good enough, all of that. I feel that in the second half of June, this will clear up because Mercury will be out of its shadow, and I'm speaking specifically if you have this affecting, one of those areas that I mentioned, but in general, this could just be the case where people are not really trusting their own judgment on things, or kind of reviewing things that in the past. And so meditation, if you have been meditating, you're ahead of the game. Um, I know I haven't been doing that, so it's no wonder, when you don't do it, that your mind takes control. So you have to do that. So in the past position, you may have been not as active mentally. If that's something that you do professionally, then that can feel like you're stagnant in some way. But no, it's just like I feel like in the second half of June, you will feel more like doing those things if you don't feel like it right now. And it's good for you. It gives that respite from all of that mental activity. The higher message is the Justice card. This is connected to Libra. So there may have been, like, if you have a prominent Libra person in your life, they have something they may have said or done may have triggered feelings, thinking about the past and how it's, how things went. So perhaps this person was even like an ex because of the Mercury retrograde. Maybe you heard from an ex and you thought about those idyllic times that you had, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily want to go back with that person. Doesn't mean that you think that would be a wise thing to do, but you can get carried away for a second for sure. Also, I think in terms of any kind of feelings of discomfort, mental discomfort that you may have about the past, the Justice card suggests that there's divine order, because I think a lot of times we suffer when we think that what happened to us was unfair. And people tend to be binary. They tend to only be able to think either A or B. And when you can think of A and B at the same time, then you're really on point, because you can see yourself as having been a victim of trauma or abuse and still not identify as a victim. You can feel that you were treated unfairly and still believe that it's in divine order. You don't have to negate one for the other. That's what I'm getting from this Justice card. And it does give you peace of mind if you are not desiring to be a victim. See, that's the key, because that's where people who have a lack of forgiveness, that's what always kind of hooks them in, is like, yeah, but then I'm letting that person off the hook. And it's like, what if there is no hook? What if you just destroy, got rid of the hook? Again, it's looking at the bigger picture, and Sag is usually quite good at that. But the bigger picture could be past lifetimes. We don't know what we were up to in past lifetimes. And the things that we have found ourselves in today may have some connection to those things. I'm not one of those people like, yeah, karmic justice. You have to suffer just like you caused other people to suffer. It could be in a similar vein, but not in this punitive way, but something that you choose as, I don't know if I'd say atonement of your sins, but as a way to, you could say balance the scales, but I would rather say as a point of reference, so that you can gain understanding of how things work and how people feel when they are treated a certain way. It's almost like a scientist, going out and experimenting with certain things in life and saying, oh, okay, so being a bigot is so injurious because you're prejudging somebody and you're completely discounting them without even knowing them. And so me being treated that way makes me able to see that I don't want to do that to others. See how hurtful that is and how harmful that is. Oh, wow. Okay, I get it. Rather than, oh my God, I was discriminated against. I'm, for my age, for my gender, race, whatever, and I'm the victim, and that's the end of it. They're bad, I'm the victim. Now, could be 100% true, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't, elevate anyone. So this is, and it doesn't, stop somebody from feeling those more negative feelings. So yeah, just wanted to kind of expound upon that. So what crosses you is the King of Cups, and this is a card of, this could be somebody in your life, and it could even be like a father, and this person did not have emotional maturity. If this was a father or a stepfather, mother's boyfriend, your father-in-law, maybe this is something that if you have an ex-husband or wife, it was the father-in-law, whoever this person was, a boss even, this person, and I'm thinking especially, in childhood because of that Six of Cups, this person may have even had a drinking problem or some other addiction, and they did not have emotional maturity. They may have resorted to manipulation because they didn't know how to get their needs met any other way. And this can cause a lot of problems for others, obviously. I've certainly experienced this. I'm sure everybody has in their own way. And the real problem with this is that it takes so many years, unless you really are extremely perceptive when you're young, or you get a lot of therapy and the therapist is so good that they know to pinpoint and say, look, this person is manipulating you. They're trying to get you to react a certain way, or they're trying to guilt you, they're trying, all these tactics. You can just internalize them and think, yeah, I'm a bad person because I just don't like this person, I just don't want to be around them, and they want to be around me. But you don't realize that they want to be around you because they want to manipulate you. If they didn't have that opportunity to do that, they wouldn't have an interest. And that's why narcissists a lot of times will ghost somebody, dispose of them, because they can no longer get that supply from that person. That person's onto them. So they don't need them anymore, or they can't run their games anymore. So is there a person in your life, and especially if this is a male, who had some kind of influence on you at some point, and you have still allowed their negative programming to affect you? Because this is a time, oh yeah, here's the thing, Sag. There's going to be a full moon in our sign in the middle of the month. And I like, now that I think about that, I like that it's on June 14th, because first of all, this is the middle of 2022, but also this is the time what I was talking about, where we're going to have this green light portal where all the personal plants are direct. When Mercury comes out of its shadow, Mercury will probably come out of its shadow a few days after that, but comes out of its shadow, and then you're able to move forward in your life with greater ease. Not to say you can't move forward every single day, but with greater ease, without the same kind of resistance back, coming back at you and stuff like that. So having that full moon, what do you need to drop? And this could be a person's programming that you need to let go of in order to feel more in control of your life. What's coming in? The Two of Pentacles. There may be a choice that you have to make. Maybe this is like kind of a line in the sand. It's interesting too because, I'm very leery about assigning timing to these cards. I would just say, if this is a theme for you, just say over the next few months or the summer, Northern Hemisphere, where you have this opportunity to make different choices. And in some cases, this can be if you have lived in the same area your whole life, it may be time to let that go. It may be triggering too much. You may be connected too much to the past. There's a phrase, I don't know if it's called generational cure, where people move in order to change their life. And it's, they use that term sarcastically because it's supposed to not work. And I agree with that. But on the flip side, if you do live in the same general area your whole life, I feel like it's very hard to get beyond the past because there's always a memory. I mean, I'm saying this for myself because I've always lived in the same basic place. And not that I go by my childhood home every day. Actually, my childhood home got torn down a couple of years ago, which was a really freaky thing to have happen. But I've lived in this area my whole life. And so I'm always reminded of the past. And because I don't have any planets in Cancer or fourth house placements, I do consider myself sentimental to some degree, but it doesn't really feel like it's oppressive in a sense. But I do feel that strong connection to the past. And this is coming up for me in a certain way. So I can see the synchronicity of it for me, and I wonder if some of you can feel that. Because I found it very interesting that this was the outcome card. The Six of Swords, leaving behind the drama, the stress, the conflict. But it can be a card of physical relocation as well. And that's why, see, this was the last card I picked. This was the first card I picked. So I feel like there's some connection there. And also, in terms of, like, if this is a relationship issue and you got involved with somebody at a very young age, and maybe, the Six of Cups is the soulmate card, but sometimes you might get involved with somebody to escape your family of origin. So it's kind of like a refuge, but it may not be the best thing, in certain cases. That person may not be the right person for you. So, especially if you're doing it in a very reactive kind of way. So it might be choosing to leave of your own accord, whereas before you chose to leave because you were escaping something. So it's very interesting. I almost feel I'm going to pick an additional card. I'm just going to cut the deck in half and see what comes up here. Four of Pentacles. Well, certainly this is a good omen for financial security. And I remember another astrologer saying that when you move, you actually raise your vibration. I find that very interesting. I don't know if that's true 100% of the time, because sometimes, like I said, people do that as a way to avoid things. But maybe if you make a major change like this and you let go of something, that full moon happening mid-month, it will lead to you being able to have a higher quality of life, even on the material level. And that's usually what people are afraid of. Like, oh my gosh, will I be able to find work? It's more expensive to live over there, or, things like that. And you can actually feel your life expand. It's just the unknown that's a little bit uncomfortable, right? Okay, that's what I have for you, Sag. I hope that this resonated. I would love to read for Sages, and I have been doing so, it seems like, especially lately. But yeah, you can check out my offerings at the link below. I'm primarily an astrologer. Have a great month. Take care. Bye.